I Feel Pretty. Renee, played by Amy Schumer, is a singleton who lives in New York. She has confidence issues and is trying her best to get on in life. She works in a basement office in Chinatown, where she also lives. She works for the online sales of a makeup company called Lily Leclerc. Her only co-worker is a quiet, solitary IT guy called Mason. She is required, for what can only assume is the first time, because how did she get the job in the first place, to go to the head office. A shiny glass acrylic towering skyscraper, which immediately takes her breath away. She immediately develops a new life goal. Why she didn't have one before is to work as a receptionist in the company that she already works for, so she can be surrounded by all of the beauty. Her lack of confidence gets in her way, and she decides not to apply for the job, and she carries on her merry way. While exercising, she hits her head, and suddenly her body self-image has completely changed. And she, and here's the tagline, feels pretty. But it's more than that. She thinks she's stunning. She thinks she's God's gift, and with all that comes all the confidence in the world. She meets Ethan, who she forces her number onto, who quite unassumingly goes along with her directness. With her newfound confidence, she goes about changing her entire life. She gets a job as a receptionist and makes an impression on Lily and Avery Leclerc. Avery, who has issues of her own, that she doesn't like her voice. She also makes an impression on Grant Leclerc, Avery's brother. In the end, Renee gets exactly what she wants. She fits in with the beautiful people, but at what cost? In quick summary, watch the trailer. You've already guessed the whole plot of this film, so why bother? It is a feel-good film. The performance for Amy Schumer shines through, and it can't help you feel empathy at the beginning. There's a lot of laughs in the cinema, and there were parts that were genuinely funny. The characters are caricatures of people, with very little depth. The two best friends barely had a name, and everyone seemed to be a stereotype. Maybe that's so that you can empathise easier, I don't know. I just felt that the characters, like the brother, were just tacked on. He was just there to make an attractive alternative to the only other man in Renee's life, who was Ethan. The writers were clearly very aware that this story had been done before, even dropping in scenes from Tom Hanks' Big, where a young boy wishes to be grown up, comes to quickly realise getting what you want isn't all it's cracked up to be. Now, music to me is very important in a film, and one thing that was greatly lacking for me was a decent score. There was no music that tied to many of the scenes very well. It didn't make any emotional impact. I feel that could have helped a little in terms of making this movie just go the step further that I think it needed to go. It did go for some cheap laughs, and the comedy was definitely not refined. I left the cinema feeling good, but that quickly deflated when I realised it was 2 hours that I didn't get a lot of return for. The Devil Wears Prada would certainly like its background story back.